All right. What's up? It's your old pal Kev. I just wanted to make a recap of my trades on SPY this week and uh, going through the 15-minute orb. Hopefully, if this is helpful to somebody, that was my goal. But anyways, so the first candle, I'm on the 15-minute chart here on SPY, right? So I mark the high and the low, the 15-minute. I've been using this one, this parallel channel one, which is for like doing trends and stuff like that. I could use the box as well, which at least does a straight line really easy, but I like the parallel channel because it gives you the halfway point. But anyway, so that's what I do. I wait 15 minutes, so 9:45, the first candle comes out, and then I'll switch to the 5 minute. Um, so I hate how it does that. Okay, so on Monday, first three candles, boom, boom, boom. And then we had a break of the orb. And I actually bought on this retest here, I bought 574 calls. So that was like $2. It was about here. It was like $1.50 out of the money. I bought some calls there. It went back into orb. Usually, technically the guy Max says to sell when it breaks the line, but I saw also that it was holding the 9 EMA. And I was waiting for, I go back and forth between waiting for a full body candle closure um, back in or just the break of it. But I saw this reversal real quick. So that gave me some confirmation. And then I rode this up to here and I sold on that push, which I think was around, 25, 30%. I sold a little more here. I think I had maybe 6, 7 contracts total. So I think I sold like 3, 4, 2, and then when it broke the 9 EMA here is when I sold that. So that was okay. I made about 20% that day. Is this recording? Yeah, it is. Okay. So that was on Monday. On Tuesday was a bad day. It's a bad day for me right here. And I was working. So I'm an electrician. I work for myself, which is good because I don't have a boss to answer to. But I'm working in a guy's bathroom, changing his bathroom exhaust fan, and I'm trying to watch this. And I realized that like watching the charts is important to watch for price action. And if I'm doing something and then I look and only glance over now and then, I'm not actually seeing how the candles are forming. Because here's the orb, 9:30, 3 candles, the bottom. It broke below, but it got bought up again, right? And then it broke down again here. And I bought puts. What I really should have waited for is a candle to break below, right? Because this, looking at it now, it's just so clear that it definitely bought back up into orb, and I definitely should have bought calls there, but I bought puts, and that was a bad move on my part because literally I'm working. I looked at this candle. I looked at it when it was red to here, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting in puts right now, only to have it reverse back up. So I really should have sold a lot earlier, but I was just hoping and praying, but it never did. So I ended up selling when it broke the top side here. And this was a real bad day. Sold for about 45% loss. And then I was like, okay, it's going to go up now. So I bought calls right about here on this retest. It looked pretty good because it went back into orb. It came back up 545.60. I bought 546 calls. I had like 25% on them here. But like I wrote, greed was saying, make it all back what you lost. I lost, so much here. I was like, all right, I got to make my money back. And what did I do? Didn't sell. And then it just went back down. And it did this rest of the day. I never sold them. I just took 100% loss, hoping that it would go back up by the end of the day. It never did. This is a real bad day because I wasn't watching the charts. And lesson learned on that one for sure. And I always realized, like, boy, if I just waited another 5 minutes, right? if I just wait 5 minutes more, it'll be so much more clear. Anyway, so then Wednesday, I came in a little jaded. Here's the first three candles, 9:30, 9:35, 9. All right, so the first three candles, that's orb. I had a hard sell, another hard sell. I was waiting for a back test based off of what happened the previous day. I didn't want the same thing to happen because this candle could have almost done the same thing. This candle made me feel like it was definitely going to keep going down though. So I ended up buying puts here. This one went red first and I was like, all right, nice. I'm getting in. And then it ended up going all the way up. I was down immediately, about 20%, I want to say. But then it came back down. This one sideways. I think, when it was about here, I was down about, 15%, but it rejected really hard. That made me feel pretty good. It went sideways, and I think again, because I hadn't sold, what I really should have done is sold a little bit here, but it went sideways all the way till here. I was down again, probably about 10%, maybe a little more at this point. I don't quite remember. But then we had the move down. I sold on this candle. I thought maybe it was going to reverse here. I sold more there. I held a couple and moved further down. I sold a couple more and a couple more. So that was a good day. I was really thinking 570 was going to be a spot where it would reverse. So I got out of it here. It did move farther down the rest of that day. But, definitely that move out of the 15-minute, really made me feel like I should be getting into puts, plus with the EMAs lining up like that. I've been trying to use the 9 specifically with orb together for some confluence. So then, this is Thursday. So on Thursday, 9:30, 1, 2, 3. Here's the bottom. This was a beautiful reversal candle at the bottom. Big buys coming up. I actually bought before it exited just because the volume was so high. Like that was the highest volume for the whole day, except for at the end of the day there. So I really felt like it was going to keep going. Come to find out, right? I could actually wait for the retest of orb right here. This is the day I scaled in. I tried that. I don't normally do that. I think I bought 2. I think I bought 2 calls, and then I might have bought four more, and then I bought maybe 3 or 4 more, on the what I thought was the retest here. Almost made it back down. And this was pretty of a stress-free trade because I had bought down here. Even this, I was still green a little bit, like 5% or so. Rode this up. I thought 570 again was going to be a level. So I sold on my first, on that push here, sold some here, sold more here. I think I held a couple, and I held them until the break of the 9 EMA on this candle here. All in all, this was about a 50% trade, what I made on that. So that one was pretty good. And again, pretty stress free because I was playing off the bottom, right? Because with orb, you can either play off the bottom. I think that's really my favorite is to get in down here if you see that it's going to go, because the plan could be either to ride it to the top of orb if it's going to do this, or like what it did that day, so quickly broke through. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely like that. Or if it does this and comes up to the top of orb real quick and then breaks down, which actually is what happened on Friday. So on Friday, 9:30, 1, 2, 3, 9:45. So this was orb, the 3 candles on the 5-minute. Hard reject. That 565, I know was a level. It sold right under it. I was like, okay, it seems like maybe it wants to go down. I waited. There was another hard sell. And then look at, you got pre-market low there, right? So I was like looking at orb. You got yesterday's low. It broke yesterday's low. It went right to pre-market low, the pink one. We're coming out of orb pretty strong. The EMAs are lining up real nice. I waited though, and I bought puts on this retest. It was beautiful. I bought right at the line. That's another nice thing with orb is that um, if you can get in on the retest, like here to here is your stop loss, you know. So I mean that's if you play it by the book, right? If you play it by the book, then you're buying as close as you can. Even on this candle, you could have bought here-ish if you can get in, and then if we break into that again, I'm just going to get out of the call and lose so little to gain so much. So um, I think I bought 15 contracts here because the selling pressure just seemed like it was so high. The volume was good. So I didn't scale in that day on Friday. And then this was just so stress free too. Right in the 9 EMAs, I sold on this big candle. I sold on this one, this one, this one, and then I held some runners. I think I held 2 runners. Again, I'm working. I'm like, some days I'm home and I can sit in front of the screen. Some days I just have like an iPad and I'm trying to work and deal with customers. It gets a little scary, so I'm trying to manage my time and not trade when it's going to be a busy day. But um, looking at this now, I'm like, why did I sell there? Like we were nowhere close to the 9. We never broke, as Mr. Banks always talks about holding it till you get a full body candle closure above the 9, which actually didn't happen really till here. And even that, I missed the big move down. These 2 cells, I think they were totally free, so it's like I gotta learn to just hold my runners a little longer. But again, this was like all in all, this was like 80% trade I made there. Even selling these early because this one was like 140% at that point. So, I'm not trying to be greedy. Uh, trying, still am sometimes, but obviously this was like $3 when I sold it here, and then if I had held it obviously till here, it would have been, I think it was like 650. So it would have been a little more money, but all in all, this was a totally stress-free trade too. Just playing off, there was so much confluence here with the pre-market low, orb, the EMAs, the price action. That was a super easy one. So, looking forward to this week. What I learned is I really should wait for some sort of back test, because again, I bought here and it was a little bit of drawdown here, but like I could have waited for that one. Thursday, I could have waited for a back test. This would have been a perfect entry right there. Instead of playing the break of it. This one, I technically did wait for the back test as much as, I guess it technically could have gone more of a back test, but that one I did wait for. If I had waited on this one on Tuesday, that would have been much better of a move. And then here, I bought there. I bought, more here on this back test. So really I could have waited again. So it's 4, 1, I'm not going to count the lost day, but like 1, 2, 3, all the days, really they all back tested on either the next candle or 2 candles after. So definitely I am learning to be, if I can be patient a little more. I'm always afraid I'm going to miss the whole move. But even still with this huge move that was pretty quick, there was still that back test. So that's kind of what I learned this week. Anyways, that's it. Hopefully somebody can grab some sort of information from that, and let's have a good week. Keep it green, everybody.